My grandmother and my grandfather started this adventure with very little money in a tiny head office, a single room, at 2 Via Spartaco. The First World War was over, so naturally it was a time of big expansion. My grandfather capitalized on the success he had during the first years in Via Spartaco, so he bought a plot of land 1.5 blocks further away, closer to the suburbs, at 19 Via Spartaco, where there was a vegetable garden.
Un isolato e mezzo più verso la periferia, che poi è diventato Via Spartaco 19, e c'era un orto.
My grandfather was an agitator, very positive, committed, and serious, and he had no love for fascism. I don't say this for political reasons, but he was like that. Matilda, my grandmother, told me when I was a child that my grandfather would occasionally go to a bar in Piazza del Duomo to chat with his friends. Suddenly he received a warning. You must stop coming to this bar because we found out that you are not sympathetic to Mussolini. This is my memory of the fascist era. When the Second World War broke out, my father, who was educated as a serviceman, became captain of artillery and was called to go first to Crete and then to the Albanian front. Because in the meantime my grandfather Carlo Cicrespi died, my mother and grandmother moved the company and the children to Tortona. They also decided to take the families of the 7 or 8 collaborators with them to save them from the war. My aunt's cousin, who was Jewish, was hidden there, and when the Germans were coming, my grandmother would tell us children, "Pretend that Uncle Oscar doesn't exist," because she was scared we would say something. We were on a hill and could see the bombings over Milan, but we didn't realize the danger. Once I was going by bicycle with my mom to Tortona, and suddenly she pushed me in a ditch. We heard machine gun sounds over us. This was a historic moment. Because it is easy to say, we are 100 years old, and think how we survived through the war. Peace resumed, and with the help of some peasants using farm carts, my family was able to return Carlo Crespi and company to Milan, crossing the bombed Ticino River by walking on new, temporary bridges made from boats in a row. When I finished studying accounting, my friends and I were able to convince our parents to let us go to London because we all had the dream to learn English. We spent 4 months in a bed and breakfast at 14 Sussex Place. There we had a room with 3 beds. During the day we attended a course at the British Council, and we were watching 2 movies a day so that we could progress with our English. In a certain way, that changed my life. I came back to Italy and wanted to study at the university. My father said no, because he had attended the university in Pavia without any results, and he preferred that I work in the company. So I said, if I work, can I go to Catholic University in the evening? And he said, if you would rather go to the university than go dancing, then why not? I started as a commerce agent and operated in an area north of Lombardy, which includes Varese, Como, and Bergamo. At a certain point, I discovered that some of the products we imported from Germany were sold locally at the same price we were paying the manufacturer. So I went to my parents and said we needed to change that. Generally speaking, the company is oriented in 3 markets, 3 areas. One is industrial, referring to labeling, coding, and traceability of industrial products that can be soft drinks or products of any sort. The second became very important after the introduction of the euro, and is about documents and financial security, including verification and counting machines for money. The third and most modern of our endeavors, looking more to the future, is visual communication that began as architectural signs and has developed into virtual electronic communication and brand implementation, something that gives a brand image to a place. My name is Renata Monticelli Bettatini. I have worked at Cicrespi for 30 years. I am a company shareholder, so I share the property that has been the Monticellis for 4 generations. For 15 years I have been responsible for purchasing and logistics for the entire group. I stay in contact with our strategic international partners. Regarding my relationship with my father, the president, he helped me to mature because he always provided a very positive and stimulating personality for the company. He helped me to learn how to properly manage the business. My name is Pierpaolo Vigorelli. I have worked for Cicrespi since 1973. I am one of the managing directors, the supervising administrator for human resources, and I also take care of management control. Because of the way Cicrespi is structured, it is essential to bring the costs and revenues of every single division and business unit under control. This has always been our best weapon, and it has taken us years to achieve satisfactory profits. I believe that a company grows up if the leadership and the workers are very curious. I started very early in my career to travel to the United States. At that time, the United States was the future. It's true that we Italians had an economic boom in the 60s, but the U.S. was always ahead by 5 or 6 years, both as a market and for products. Through my British friends and other contacts, I became friends with an American man who invited me to Chicago. So I went there, then to New York, and so on. The thing that impressed me most of all was the way the Americans showed their companies to visitors. They didn't receive you in a meeting room or in the president's office. They would take you around the factory and show you everything. Visiting these factories in this way, I understood what the future of my own company could be. I was 17 years old when I studied martial arts at a gym on Via Spartico in Milan. I worked during the day, and on alternate evenings I studied or I was at the gym. Once when I was walking by 19 Via Spartico, I noticed a little window in a basement, and on it the name Carlo Crespi and Company. I was curious because I wondered what they were selling or doing in there. After I worked for 7 years at an American multinational company, I was finally hired by Cicrespi in 1980. Now I take care of credit management that over the years has become more important, especially in support of the commercial function and to simplify the bureaucratic relationships with the public. That means concluding contracts and relationships with clients is easier, as well as document production that the public administration requires. I am Antonio Villi, and I take care of engineering at Cicrespi. I was chosen as the person to transition from the old labeling system to automatic production. Our goal is to introduce automation and speed to the standard machines in the production departments at Cicrespi. We need to do it in a way that the production be traditional and yet maintain the same numbers as industrial methods. So we plan special situations and then realize them. This means that we have to have samples and information in our hands. Then we deal with the client until we get a price that can satisfy both. If the company is to grow, as with any political organization or association, it must have active members who participate in the game and are not simply waiting to hear what the leader says and then applaud. This is useless. Team players are needed. The best system has explanations and guides. Defining a direction, and especially an orientation, is needed to strongly motivate people.
Questa business unit di fatto cosa fa? Fa programmi di rebranding e corporate identity, per cui gestisce.
What exactly is this business unit doing? It realizes rebranding and corporate identity programs, coordinating all the developmental activities to coordinate an image for clients who need to visualize their trademark, company, bank, financial service, or products.
Noi lavoriamo con designer nazionali o internazionali.
We work with national and international designers who take care of the creative aspect, then do everything that has to do with the development of the prototype and engineering processes. When the prototype is realized and approved by the client, he needs to see his corporate identity developed on a multi-site. That means agencies, offices, headquarters. This project can be a bank merger or a change of trademark to make the original image of the client more innovative. All this results in a series of campaigns that must be introduced into the market as soon as possible.
Nel mercato nel più breve tempo possibile.
Nel 1974
In 1974, the Rotary Club Milan Southeast was started, and one of my old friends was the founder. Once when I was back from a trip, I was invited to join the club, and soon my passion for the Rotary Club made me achieve motivational and communication abilities.
La storia è che io avevo una mia...
I had my own company founded in 1989 dealing with business gifts in general. Then I lost my wife Chiara, who was the daughter of the president, Carlo Monticelli. His intuition told him to involve me in the Cicrespi company. I now take care of the web unit, an office that deals with internet communication. We are looking for new opportunities for the electronic managing of files and an equivalent archiving program to replace paper documents.
Mi chiamo Davide Baccella, sono entrato in Cicrespi nel 1972.
I joined Cicrespi in 1972 upon concluding a secondary school that specialized in scientific subjects. I started as sales agent for the Central South area of Italy. Then in the following years, Rome headquarters became my responsibility until 1996. That year, Cicrespi management proposed to me to come to Milan to oversee quality certification and all aspects of security inside the firm. The word turbo quality was coined to show not only the importance of quality in relationship with the client, but the need also to be quick.
Io sono Alfio Gianatti, amministratore delegato per l'area Cicrespi Industria, Cicrespi Documento e Denaro.
I am Alfio Gianatti, and I work at Cicrespi in the areas of industry, documents, and money. I have 30 years of seniority, so I am part of this history. When they ask me what I do, I say that my major commitment is to maximize the skills and the competencies of the staffs and resources that the company put at my disposal. If you build a competitive mechanism that steadily grows better, or in the vanguard compared to the competition, means to give shape to the future. That's the claim of this company. In other words, do something great, and in a while others will follow you. Because if you are the one following, you will never be ahead of the others.